Today's episode is brought to you by Manoogian Law. Facing a Tarik Skubal fastball is scary. You know what else is scary? Walking into a courtroom without someone who has your best interests at heart. And that is where Max Manoogian comes in. Confidence in the courtroom is his slogan. And it's easy to see why. With over 11 years of criminal defense experience, Manoogian Law is your go-to in Oakland, Wayne, and Macomb counties, as well as all of Southeast Michigan. The man knows his way around a courtroom. Easy to contact and a straight shooter, Max Manoogian is in the business of helping his clients, not nickel and diming those in need. Step into the batter's box with confidence with Manoogian Law. Friend of the podcast, a diehard Tigers fan, and proud sponsor of Turning the Corner. Contact Manoogian Law at 248-973-7527. And welcome into another episode of Turning the Corner, a Detroit Tigers podcast. I am Kieran Steckley, as we've done the past couple of games, solo for now while Cody Stavenhagen is slinging keys, what I'm sure will be a very well written and, this is on you, very well read story. So for now, I just gotta say, Detroit, you get not one, but two playoff games at Comerica. Go make a memory, why don't you? Alright, so as you guys know, this is not like a pure recap. It's just kind of me like spitting my thoughts. They might not necessarily be in the best order, but I just kind of jot down some thoughts and just kind of go, right? So the Tigers shocked the land. That's Cleveland and the baseball world. Because the Tigers, like Motown legend Aretha Franklin, are just asking for a little respect. Just a little bit. Did that work? Maybe. I don't know. Well, it was too good not to try. Detroit's 3-0 win Monday afternoon / night-ish puts respect on the gritty Tigers name. You know, it's like Cody and I were talking about on Sunday. This team, safe to say the least position player, star power left in the playoff field. I mean, anybody else notice that those like TV montages still have some Astros in them? I mean, come on, do better. That's all I gotta say. But anyway, this team still has all the ingredients for an October run. And here, the world saw it. All right, Skubal was amazing. 7 scoreless innings, 3 hits, 8 strikeouts. You know, that's Tarik. Anytime he got into some little trouble, you know, a little testy there, he got himself out with 2 huge double plays. Defense. Remember, that's part of this run too. And timely hits, you know, you like them a little bit more timely, but at the end, timely hits, and of course, a win is always possible with AJ at the control panel. All right, so I got to be honest. I've been waiting, longing for Kerry Carpenter to have a moment. It's obvious he's an essential piece to this run to anyone who follows this team. But the judgment eyes are present in October. And, you know, it's hard to hype this guy that we know is top-notch when he doesn't start 2 of the team's 4 games, right? And coming into today, he was 2 for 10 with 3 strikeouts in the postseason. And, you know, it's not like the pop out to the catcher today was much of a bragging moment. But against perhaps the best relief pitcher in baseball, Carpenter gave us a moment. And that's why we love this game. And that is why we needed to feel what it was like to like be in one of those storybook moments. Like I'll be honest with you, like I'm gonna remember where I was sitting, who I was with, my emotions, seeing the reactions on X, getting the phone call from my dad. I'm gonna remember all these things about this moment that Kerry Carpenter gave us. But that's obvious, you know, like there's going to be a lot written about Kerry Carpenter and everything there, and that's much deserved. But, you know, I kind of want to talk about Justin Henry Malloy. You know, having him bat second in game 1 against Houston raised some eyebrows, but also, you know, kind of felt like as transparent as Hinch will get with his game plan, you know. Okay, J-Han gets a hit and a walk, and then he gets pulled for carp, you know, once there's a righty on the on the mound, and he's up in the lineup to maximize the opportunity for the pinch hit. We all understand that. Solid work. But today, or yesterday, depending on when you're listening to this, in what is as close to a must-win game as you're going to get before actually facing elimination, Hinch doubles down of sorts and bats J-Hen lead off. On the road, a rookie who's semi-positionless. I know that doesn't necessarily matter for the DH part, but it's still kind of part of the profile. The human ABS, he knocks not one but 2 base hits, completely validating the move. And, look, this is coming from somebody who believes you need as many Carpenter at-bats as you can manufacture, regardless of pitcher handiness. So, I want to give a lot of credit to J-Hen for how he's handled this kind of semi-batting order opener role, ceding to Kerry Carpenter. So, I think he deserves a ton of credit. I do also have something to say about the last hit. It's not going to be much of a talking point today, thanks to Kerry, but I was never going to come on here and crush J-Hen for trying to turn that base hit in the double. In that situation, runs are precious. Not a lot of indication that the bats were going for the Tigers, And, this is an aggressive team when they're on the dirt, And he was trying to do his part. You got to keep in mind, it was pretty safe to assume at that point that was going to be his last at bat. He was not going to see the field again. And it took a perfect cutoff and a perfect throw. And you could argue maybe with a slightly better slide, although that's kind of splitting hairs, a slightly better slide, he's in there safely. Cleveland manager Stephen Vogt, he could have pulled Matt Boyd there, but he wanted to delay the Carpenter entrance. J-Hen ends up out, but he gets the base hit. Is the game different there? If Carp comes in, maybe, I don't know. But, you could argue that Steven made the wrong move there because J-Hen gets the hit, but he gets out. They're feeling happy. Everything's going Cleveland at that point, right? Not lost on me in this. I know we joke around a lot about the cliches with the team and, being friends and all that stuff. But I did notice that, who one of the first guys out of the dugout, to greet Carpenter after he crossed home plate? It was J-Hen. That those guys were, they're linked, forever linked in the box score of this game, all right? And, AJ Hinch's leadoff spot, 3 for 5. Obviously, the home run for Carpenter. Not bad, Skip. Not bad at all. And really, what this game did, this end result did, I should say, is it saved me from just trying to go over all these scenarios and theories and things like that. Because let me kind of take you to where I was going at various times, because it's not like there was a lot going on the majority of this game, right? There are 2 schools of thought in regarding to the Tigers. They're pressing, they're not getting on the scoreboard, and not only where they not getting runners across, but for the most part, not really competitive outputs, I would say, with runners in scoring position. So the mind wanders to the what does it mean question. Should they lose this game? All right, you're down 0-2. You feel like you can get a win in Detroit, but after this miraculous and at times ridiculous run, it's a 5-game series, maybe the least advantageous number, because in 3 you get Scoob and you just got to steal a game, 1 of 2. In 7 games, you almost always have time for adjustments and getting your matchups. But in 5, it's it almost feels too long and too short for how this team wants it to play out. So that's racking through my brain. Bottom line, 0-2 is not how you want Detroit's rebirth into October baseball to be. But this sure as hell. And you'd much rather have, if you believe in momentum, you'd much rather have the dud game to begin the series, reset, get yourself an emotional win before heading home. You could argue outside of, obviously, you want to, if you take the first 2, that'd be perfect, but this is kind of the perfect script going into Detroit. So I did kind of want to shout out a couple unsung heroes from today because, when you have a moment like Carpenter's, a lot's going to get lost in the sauce. So first, we're not talking like this if Jake Rogers and Trey Sweeney, that's the bottom of the order with two guys that have combined for 13 strikeouts this postseason coming in. They each get a 2-out base hit off Class A. I mean, that's, you kind of figure the inning's over with 2 outs in that situation, right? You get not one, but 2 base hits, including one from a rookie. Second, Will Vest and Bo Brisky get 4 strikeouts and 6 hitters, in the 8th and 9th innings. Obviously, the hold there in the 8th, and turns out to be the win, but, holding them in the 8th for Vest, and then Brisky taking charge there in the 9th for the save. Matt Vierling, the old vet, right? It didn't amount to anything because, as we all know, running runners in scoring position might as well have not existed until the end there. But his his eighth inning double felt like it gave the team some life because, when you're on the road against a divisional foe that has bested you throughout the season and the game is tied and you're down a game in the series, you haven't gotten a hit and a full lineup turn, you almost kind of feel like you're down. You know what I mean? You're trailing, or you just don't really have anything going for you. And that, I think, kind of sparked the emotions a little bit. So I don't want that to get lost in there either. Because, again, this is the Cleveland bullpen we're talking about. And that's where, the damage started right there off Gaddis. So I don't want that to get lost either. Parker Meadows showing Stephen Kwan that he too can flash the leather was another one of those believe moments. Obviously, kind of pedestrian by Parker Meadows standards, but still one of those what's going to happen? And then, of course, Parker's going to come down with it if it's not going to go over the wall, right? Lastly, this kind of weird one. Spencer Torkelson, not a lot of bragging here for him. He's become kind of the ire again. He probably always will be if he doesn't turn it around, which, we know the odds on that. But, he did make a great stretch to complete that 6th inning double play. That was something. And up until Kerry Carpenter, he did kind of have the best swing with a runner in scoring position today. The fly ball to right to move Perez over. So what does that mean? Probably nothing. But, just one of those things that kind of stuck out in my mind. All right, he is back. He has written. He's probably got more writing to do, but he's gonna fill in some gaps for us and give us his thoughts. The dude who always knows what to say. With me, as always, is a man who believes Jesus Christ can hit a curveball. He is Cody Stavenhagen. Cody, the floor is yours.
Wow, what a game. I've seen a lot of good ones in my day. Maybe it's just recency bias, but I feel like that has to be up there with any of them. What we just witnessed tonight was a real October classic. I think you recapped the game pretty well, pretty comprehensively, so I don't know how much more, I should really add on that front, but I think it's just important to hit on a couple of storylines. One is Tarik Skubal. I mean, he's been so good all season, and what has impressed me the most is just the consistency. Start in and start out, attacking the strike zone, but he almost seemed on another level today. Maybe that was with the help of these awful shadows that we talked about last week, but the changeup was just nasty, nasty, and he was dialed in. He was intense emotionally as ever, and yet it only brought more out of him performance-wise. That's just a hard thing to do. That really speaks to his true competitive nature. How about his reactions coming off the field? We've seen him all year long, the fist pumps, the roars, and then whatever he did to the crowd today, kind of the bring it on or are you not entertained with his arms out. That was awesome. That was epic. That was a postseason showman at work. He's made 2 starts, and he's only the 6th pitcher in MLB history to go at least 6 scoreless innings in each of his first 2 career postseason starts. So that is rare air right there. That is history. That is what we are watching with Tarik Skubal. And then you basically have to flash ahead to the 8th inning because just neither team was hitting the ball. when the Tigers missed a couple of their opportunities, I did worry, like, is this going to be it? I don't know if you can feel good about them against the Cleveland bullpen. I was talking with someone before the game. It was Jesse Rogers from ESPN. And he was like, yeah, you think they win tonight with Skubal on the mound? And it's like, well, I mean, you would think so, right? But they did still lose 10 times this year with Skubal on the mound. And I said, I mean, I don't know. I give up predicting anything with this year's Tigers. It's been so crazy, but what if they lose 2-1? And for a minute, it seemed like this could be a 1-0, 2-1 type game. And that ball that was hit towards Stephen Kwan off the bat of Winslow Perez, funny because right now it's going to go down as a footnote. It's not something people will even really remember in probably like a week. But had things gone differently, that would have been a play that I think Detroit baseball fans would debate and talk about for years. I still haven't seen an angle that really makes me feel super strongly one way or another, whether that ball hit the ground or the leather. It looked like ball, leather, and grass kind of all collided at the same time for me. So it's going to be really controversial. I'm sure people listening right now are getting heated about it, but I do think is one where you had to go with the call on the field. The good news is for the Detroit Tigers, none of that matters. One swing of the bat from Kerry Carpenter, and this ball is gone. I wrote in The Athletic about the Jobu doll from Major League that Tarik Skubal's mother keeps under her bed in Kingman, Arizona. She got it as a gift, and she had it out there in the wild for a couple years as Skubal struggled to start his Major League career. So superstitious, halfway jokingly at least, that she duct taped this thing under her bed to tame its powers. So if you want an explanation for why Skubal's having a Cy Young season, why the Tigers are on this unprecedented run, maybe it's the Joe Boo doll. Maybe no coincidence that what powered Pedro Serrano's play for the Cleveland Indians back in the fictional movie Major League. The Joe Boo doll now being taped up, and the Indians get shut down by Skubal. But I think also the coolest thing, despite seeing one of the great playoff baseball games I've ever seen, the coolest thing after the game, Tarik Skubal does his press conference, and he walks out of the room, and I kind of followed him because I wanted to ask him one more question, really about the Joe Budall. I didn't do that because standing right out there was Matt Boyd, and Matt Boyd and Tarik Skubal kind of share a quick high five, a hug. They say a few words, and they start walking down the hallway together. Matt's in his street clothes. He's headed out for the night. Tarik's going to get changed in the Tigers clubhouse. And if that's not baseball and humanity at work, I don't know what else is. These two guys were locked in a bitter duel. They both pitched incredibly well in kind of their different roles. Mentors, friends. I also wrote about their connection this week. If you happen to miss it, even though it was talked about plenty on the broadcast, really an incredible story, and I think an incredible thing to witness. Really put a capper on an amazing night of baseball. I cannot wait to see what Game 3 in Detroit will hold.
All right, I want to thank everybody for listening and following along. Cody is at Cody Stamenhagen. I am at Kieran_Steckley. Pod page at Turn Corner Pod. Be sure to follow us for any news that we might have doing what we're doing here, which we love it. We enjoy it. Links on all our socials to our merch store, Venmo tip jar. We appreciate all of you. The party heads to the Motor City, so it's going to be so much fun to witness and watch and follow along. So for Cody Stamenhagen, I am Kieran Steckley. Everybody have a great day.